There's been a change in tone, we think, and indeed it came across in my interview with the Chancellor this morning, in rhetoric towards the economy. Is that something you welcome?
Well, let's be clear. Since they came into office, she has been talking down the economy, and it's starting to feed into consumer confidence, which has dipped, and business investment confidence. And so it is right that when you're in government, you should be talking up the country and talking up the economy, particularly when you think when they came into office, we were the fastest growing economy in the G7. We had inflation at 2%, record lows, near record lows of unemployment. So the idea that they can sort of claim that this is a horrendous situation in the economy and isn't it all terrible, it didn't wash with people, and so that's why she's changing it now.
I mean, fair that some of the metrics were good, but also fair to say on public finances they were pretty shocking. Just going into the consumer confidence data, because it did fall on Friday and was the worst reading since January, but it was still better than the 5-year average. The reading came in at -20. The 5-year average was -25. And in that sense, it does talk to the inheritance that was left behind. And the picture today is still better than what you oversaw for the prior 5 years.
Well, what we oversaw, as you know, I don't need to tell you, was two pretty traumatic events with the pandemic and the war in Ukraine, which pushed up energy prices. And if you take that in the business context, obviously, as we shut down the economy effectively through the pandemic, that's going to have a bad impact on confidence, right, as well as consumer confidence. Similarly, if your energy bills are going up massively because of energy prices, that's going to shock confidence too. So it's no surprise that it has been low. But like I said, as we turned a corner at the start of this year, confidence did start to build back up, and now it's going back down again. And so I would urge the Chancellor to maintain this positivity. To be clear, I think one of the reasons why she was talking down the economy so much is to roll the pitch for tax rises in the budget, but we'll have to wait and see about that.
We will. In terms of the levers that any Chancellor has to pull, clearly there's tax and spend. There's also borrowing. Are we in a slightly different situation today? Interest rates have been cut. They may be cut again, where there should be a little bit more borrowing thrown into the mix than perhaps is being considered. Is there too much weight put in the recent memory of the Liz Truss budget?
Well, I think, look, every government follows something called the fiscal rules, where you set out to the public, to the OBR in particular, who audit the public finances on behalf of the British people to the government. You have to follow these fiscal rules to ensure that debt is falling by the 5th year and that you are, managing public finances both transparently, but also in a way that is mindful of the fact that it's not your money, it's the taxpayers' money. And so we have been urging the government this new government to carry on those fiscal rules. We are concerned she may fiddle with the fiscal rules to be able to borrow more. We think that would be a bad thing, given that interest rates are falling, we hope, but are still quite high. And so the cost to the taxpayer will be still quite high if that debt interest is jacking up.
I want to see if you can take the politics out of this next question in terms of there's been a debate about freebies over the last week. I guess, though, that if MPs or government ministers are feeling a need to take some kind of free clothes and glasses, things that are needed for doing your job, is that hinting at the idea that the base salary for MPs or ministers isn't high enough?
Personally, I think it's high enough. It's set by an independent body, as you know, and is in line with any increases are in line with what's going on in the wider public sector pay dynamic. But on this controversy around gifts and hospitality, I'm not going to get into the specifics. As you say, I'm going to take the politics out of it. It's not the concept of it that bothers me and I think a lot of my constituents. It's the hypocrisy. Labour Party were very quick to criticise the Conservative government for anything, remotely similar to this. And yet, as soon as they get into office, all of this has emerged. And I think it's more the hypocrisy that I think is bothering people more than the actual,
Have you taken free clothes, free tickets?
I haven't, I'm afraid. No, I haven't taken anything of the sort. I don't need to. I feel like I earn enough to be able to pay for my own clothes, and obviously Keir Starmer's taken a different view.
Just to wrap things off, today, whatever the mood, whatever the discussion, the Labour Party conference is very well attended. The business day sold out, fairly steep prices as well. Reports suggest otherwise for your own conference. Now, you've got a leadership election in process and, of course, just lost election. Was this conference always going to be a bit of a write-off for your party? And is that to be expected?
No. Actually, it's a great opportunity for our membership to see all of the candidates who want to be leader and prime minister in person, under scrutiny, and I think that's a very good thing. I think the numbers are fine, by the way. But just on Labour's Business Day, I think one of the reasons it's popular is not because businesses are particularly enamoured with this Labour government at the moment. They want to hear what's going to happen to their tax bill because they are very concerned about the upcoming budget and what that holds for them. It is very clear that they want to raise taxes, and it's very clear they want to bring in these new employment laws, which will be an added burden on these businesses, and that's why they want to go and hear Rachel Reeves and hear exactly what's going to happen.
The Chancellor pledged again today that she wouldn't be increasing corporation tax throughout this Parliament. Should the former Prime Minister, your current but outgoing leader, Rishi Sunak, be doing more to galvanise turnout and make your conference worthwhile for people? It
is going to be worthwhile. It's going to be a great opportunity, as I say, for members to see our candidates. I'm backing Robert Jenrick, but see all the candidates and see them scrutinised as we go forward to picking a new leader and next Prime Minister.
Gareth Davies, thanks for joining us. Great to see you.